I wanted to take a little time today and address several emails that I've been receiving over the past probably year, pushing me to do a lot more guitar instructional videos. So that will be coming. I just thanks for your patience. Been kind of busy the past year or so, but today I'm up here in the studio practicing, and I said, well, one of the common emails that I get from folks is talking to me about, how do you play funk rhythm guitar? A lot of people have seen me play live in all my clinics all over the world and stuff, and there's a lot of interest in that. So today I figured, what the heck? Let's throw the phone up on the music stand and whatever guitar I have in my hand. Let's play and kind of dissect how to make a funk rhythm guitar part out of one chord. And I am actually using a nylon string today, because that's what I'm practicing with, and it's quicker to just use this, and I'm just enjoying the tone. I'm using one of my favorite reverb pedals. This is the GFI system, Specular Reverb version 2 pedal. A lot of you have seen me play with that in my clinics in 2017 and 2018. I met these guys at NAMM January 2017. They're out of Indonesia, and their pedals are amazing. So it sounds great on electric guitar, acoustic guitar, and this nylon string. So check them out on Facebook and tell them that I sent you. And let's kind of start digging in. When folks ask me about funk guitar, I always ask them, what is the funkiest sounding chord that you know? And 9 times out of 10, or probably 95 times out of 100, so that'd be, do the math, but they'll play an E9 chord in the 6th position. So you got a root, a third, a flat 7, a 9, and a 5. We call that to play that funky music chord. And I'll say, okay, let's take that one chord. That's all we get to use. Let's get funky with that. And what they'll do is they'll say, well, okay, I'll just use my right hand. So they get... You hear all that with the right hand going? My suggestion for that is, depending on the track, usually I want to leave that right hand technique out. You don't want it going. And when talking with people that play guitar, you usually find out they're doing that because the left hand is being so rhythmic, they use the right hand pulse to keep time. And that's not necessarily what I would choose to do. I would use my head or my shoulders or my foot. And most of the time, I like keeping that clean, so then you just have the lick. And if that's too sterile, put a little bit of it in. So that kind of gives you the second layer, or another step or level upwards in getting funky. Then I'll say, well, what else would you do? And I'll give them a hint, and I'll say, you can do chromatics. And then they're like, awesome, this is great. So I can do the chord, and then I can go up a whole step and pull it back. So now they get funky. They go. And I like keeping it clean. Less is more. Keep that percussiveness out. You're usually playing with a great drummer and a great bass player, and there's, a lot of space being left open, and that's what's key into playing funk guitar. Less is more. And it's not always playing on the downbeat or the upbeat. It's little fractions and combining rhythms. So that kind of helps you with starting to get funky just based off of one chord. And then what I think about when I play is I think about, okay, I've got to create some horn line type parts on a guitar. Like if I was playing with a horn band, ba 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 da ba da ba did it. You kind of hear that, but they don't need me to go. They're already doing that, right? So I got to kind of simplify and kind of find some spots in the holes to play. And what I'll do is I'll go back to that chord, and I'll take the 1st and 3rd finger, that's your 3rd and flat 7, I'll change it to a 1st and 2nd finger, G sharp and D. And then if the horns are going, I'm going to leave that to them, but I might go a whole half step below and come up and then hit an open E string. So I'll get, that's the horns, guitar, horns. Right? So you can kind of build there, and you can get a little bit funkier. Now, if you don't have a horn section, then you've got to kind of put all those parts together and kind of make it feel like it's a horn section. And this, to me, most of the time, is a little bit too thick. I don't like 3 notes, especially on a guitar. I might just do the first string and the third string. So I get just the 2 notes. And then I might do a variation on that high part and alternate it every time. Instead of, I might go starting a whole step below and pull the whole thing back. So now you get alternate. So that kind of gets funkier there. So you can kind of mess around with that. And then I'll go, okay, next step, if that's not funky enough or I need a little bit more, I'll play around with bass notes, and I'll think of the arpeggio of the chord. E, G sharp, B, D, F sharp, G sharp. Those are kind of my notes there, and I like to keep the notes for the bass around the chord in a little 5 or 6 fret area. I don't want to play bass notes here and then chord up here, because it's like throwing darts. It doesn't flow. It's got to have a nice feel to it. So then we'll take that first little double stop that I showed you, and then I'll go a C sharp and go up to the flat 7. So I'll do a half step. So I get, and then after that, maybe the second time, I'll do the C sharp to a D and then the D to the E. So I get, okay, so that kind of gives you some simple ideas to start with. And let me put a drum groove on. This is just a little loop that I found that I was just kind of practicing with, and let you kind of hear some of these parts with some drums. So let's start with the first thing with just the chord. Add a little right hand. See how that can get funky in the right spots. And then let's do the chromatics with it, where we're taking the chord up a step and pulling it back. And then do the half step below. So we get this now. Now, let's do the double stop, where we take that high part of the chord and, or start a whole step below, go up and pull back. So now you get, so there you're building and getting a little bit funkier there. And then with our bass notes, let's just kind of go and just do, that's just a half step below the flat 7, C sharp to D and D to E. So just little pieces. Now I'm adding the right hand, and listen. Impromptu video. So you would never play all those parts like I did there on a section of a tune, but I wanted to keep this video quick, under 10 minutes, to give you a chance to kind of hear how it works with drums. And it's really up to you. You can play on whatever part of the beat you want, as long as you're listening to your bass player and your drummer. Your job as a rhythm guitar player is to be part of the foundation to get the lead instrument or the person singing a great track to play over. You're being hired to make the soloist or the lead person sound good. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please feel free to share. Send me suggestions. I'm kind of in pre-production mode for shooting upcoming videos. I've got about 15 topics that I'm going to go into with real cameras, not a phone, and go in great detail. And there'll be close-ups of my hands playing, and we'll have notation and tablature. I feel, that's a whole nother topic, but I think it's important to know both. But thanks you guys so much for your support. Stay in touch, and like I said, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Chuck Yamek. Send me an email from my chuckyamek.com website. See you at one of my clinics coming up throughout the rest of the year, and stay in touch. I appreciate you guys a bunch. Have a great rest of your day.